Okay, so turning around and being with the Lord on that sense of Him loving and accepting, and that He is awesome and it is fun just being with Him. I'm trying to actually get down to the aspect of people actually being themselves and even having their own prayer language, not in the sense of just what others say and talking in tongues. What I mean is, like, a lot of us think we have to keep asking for forgiveness, and that comes from that area of not understanding grace a lot. But generally, we need to actually find a way to actually ask for forgiveness in the way that we can, or that's basically us doing it. And this could actually be turning around and actually looking at God and loving Him with appreciation, and a way you could actually be asking Daddy God for forgiveness for screwing up is simply straight outright being honest, turning around, looking at Him and saying, I love you. Why that? Because the point is that you were already forgiven of it when you asked Him in the first time. I mean, your sins hung on the cross from the very beginning of your days that you were born. You were already chosen. As He says, not to Christianize it, but before the foundation of the world. But the point is when you asked Him for forgiveness, every one of your sins have already been forgiven. Completely forgiven, already gone, every last one of them. There are no more sins that aren't covered in your life. They are all covered. That doesn't mean just yesterday. That doesn't mean right this second. Otherwise, you'll get stuck at this non-point of sitting there asking for forgiveness for every single last thing you do, every last second that you think you might have done something wrong. That does not sound like a very good life to me. And I know this because I've done that. The point is that it's not just covered also currently and the past, it's current and the future. It's like when you ask for forgiveness of your sins, understand when you're asking, you're not asking just for yesterday. You're not asking just for today. You're asking for tomorrow and everything after. That's what you're doing. And I don't know exactly what that means by everything after, but I don't feel that came out without a reason. So anyways, we'll see what Daddy meant by that. And so everything after that's anyways, I'm gonna get stuck thinking about that, and I will definitely be thinking about that some more. I think that kind of just says absolutely. So anyways, what we do is we turn around, need to find, and I'm sorry to say need to, because need to and keeps sitting there saying need is almost like the way it's, and I do it through a lot of my videos, it's almost like, oh, we have to do this. You don't have to do anything. Anyway, so, finding our own prayer language, I guess, is one thing, but turning around and actually finding a way of saying I'm sorry in your own way to say I'm sorry. I got this thing that about just being who you really are, and that's called genuineness, and that kills any sort of religious false spirits. And the reason why it does that is because those things generally try to get you to strive and force yourself into being who you really are, and it tries to make you feel like you can't be who you really are. So that sucks, obviously. But being who you really are means even turning around and just asking Him for forgiveness in a way that you can, and turning around and even forgiving Him in a way that you can, or the way that feels with your heart and genuineness and actually you. And yes, I'm saying be original, be authentic, be who you really are, be free, okay? Free-spirited. You can just go run down the street and... Anyways, I'm not going to turn around and say that, because anyways, I don't want everyone to take me quite literally, but And I'm definitely not condoning sin, but I am certainly condoning turning around and coming straight back to Daddy God if you do. And I'm definitely on that area of condoning not sitting around in that freaking slump of self-pitying or self-unforgiveness or shame and all that other stuff. Basically everything that tries to get you focused back on yourself and try and say how you're not this, you're not that. No. Basically what we do is we turn around and we start hearing those things. We don't even need to answer to those things anyways. We turn around and say, here's the thing. Did you know that Jesus owns all your sins? Every last one of them. Even the ones you haven't committed. He already owns them. He owns every last one of them because he paid for them. That debt was paid by him, so those debts are actually his. Every one of those sins are classed as debts, and he owns them. They're his. They belong to him. He paid for them. The point is that he's the only one that can mess with them. The devil can sit there and try and lie to you, but he does not have any rights to it. That means that shame and everything else has no rights to harass you. It doesn't. It was already paid for. If the Lord turns around, he'll turn around and come up and say, ask you to ask for forgiveness for that. He'll turn around and convict you, but he's not turning around and doing it to sit there and go, you did that, you did this, you did blah, 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 blah. No, he's actually doing that because he wants you to be forgiven so he can turn around and, it's actually to get you off of turning around and going on the shame boat. It's to turn around and get you away from that other crap. It's to turn around and get you right back with him and keep any sort of shame or any of that condemnation or everything that you can't stand away from you. He's actually trying to protect you. That's what he's doing. When he actually does that, he's literally trying to protect you. And he's trying to love on you. And that's another thing, is the best way for me to deal with it is to either show basically that I love him, and it's basically the best way for me to do it is just, even if it's just singing to him, and basically showing and stating that I accept him. If that's my way of asking for forgiveness, then that's good. But that's my own way of doing it. And for me, that works because at least I'm not sitting there condemning myself, and I'm not looking for an excuse to run away from him. So then that's me finding a way to even forgive him for things that I've held against him, which I have. It's literally counseling and coming back to one another and sitting there and saying, okay, I love you more than this. What do you want to do about this? And a lot of times it's not doing anything about it. It's literally just saying, okay, I love you. And it's sitting back and actually just spending time with him. A lot of it is just, it's freedom. That's the point. It's freedom. Even asking for forgiveness is freedom. Now, when we turn around and we run around and we do it out of a religious mindset, which comes to everything that we can't stomach or stand anyway, and that's a bunch of legalism, laws, and have to do it this way, have to do it that way, rejection, and not good enough, and works, and everything that we absolutely hate, and negative judgment, and I'm not good enough, and we have to do this half-face going, no, I'm good with that. Hi, Daddy, how you doing? That is the more of the way of doing it. And yeah, so me sitting there and stating this is to try and get you guys to know, he's a lot better than, he's not the one that we thought. He's really not. And I have all rights to say that, because for those that don't actually know, I came from a lot of I came from a lot of occult. I've come from a lot of brokenness. I've come from a lot of problems, and I honestly thought I was the chief of sinners, but I guess there's anyway, so I've unfortunately led people away from the Lord, and that is kind of one of the issues that I've had a real hard time forgiving myself about. And yes, sometimes I need to forgive myself, And you know, I guess I need to really actually, even for myself, I need to find a way of actually turning around and telling myself I'm forgiven and telling myself I'm sorry by like doing something nice or special for myself. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing. And it's sitting there, and at times I need to actually show myself, hey, I appreciate myself. And that goes for you guys too. Whoa, that spider looks like, check that spider out. That is a weird, funky spider. And I don't really like him on my body at this point. Wow. Hold on. I want to get more of a picture of it. Easy. Those front parts almost look like claws. At first I thought he might have been a weird, funky scorpion spider freak of nature. As long as you don't jump on my camera, I'm okay with you, buddy. Anyway, I like jumping spiders. You know why? They are actually classed as the most intelligent spider. And you can actually have a spider that is a jumping spider as a pet. And why? They know this finger is attached to the rest of this. And we actually had one that actually finally realized that we weren't going to hurt him. And we actually, and I mean this by we, I mean like my sister's brother and my mom and her husband at the time. Actually, the spider was actually even started playing with us. I mean, it was actually really interesting. You'd sit there and he'd like bounce back and forth off of our fingers really quick a couple of times to show how fast he was. He was actually a really cool little spider. But yeah, when he realized that we weren't going to hurt him, he actually hung around everybody. He like played around, jumped on people's hands, turning around and looking at them the whole time, and it was not anything you would have expected from a spider. It was almost like having a cat, or like an intelligent, I can't even say cat or a kid. There was just seemed like too much brains was there for a cat. Yeah, I know that's kind of low blow to say that a spider's smarter than a cat. Anyways, the spider literally played with us. It was really unusual. Anyways, I think this video is done because I know it was 2 minutes before I even started with the spider, so I mean 2 minutes over. Alright, bye.